هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I seek refuge from shaitan the accursed, and I begin in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Dear viewers, may the peace and blessing of Allah be on all of you. You are welcome to your program, A Moment with the Companion, sponsored by the Companion, an association of Muslim men in businesses and profession. I'm your host for today's episode, Abdul Ghani Abdul Majid. The topic for today's episode is the Lordship of Allah. The Lordship of Allah will be presented to us by Imam Abdurrahman Ahmad. Imam Abdurrahman Olanrewaju Ahmad is the Chief Missioner of Ansaruddin Society of Nigeria. Dear viewers, join me in welcoming Imam Abdurrahman Ahmad. Imam Abdurrahman, Salaam Alaikum.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم به نستعين صلى الله على نبي الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters in Allah's deen, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your act of fasting and all the act of ibadah in this auspicious month of Ramadan. May Allah give you good health. May Allah preserve us throughout this month and beyond. May this not be the last fasting of Ramadan that we are going to experience in our lives. May Allah grant us the opportunity to witness more Ramadan in good health and sound iman. Amina ya Rabbal Alameen. This is the month of worship. It is the month of the Quran. It is the month of service and the month of selflessness. It is the month of altruism, the month of compassion, the month of forgiveness, the month of mercy, the month of giving and receiving, the month of light. And it is in the light of that we want to deepen our understanding of, the one for whose sake, in obedience to whom we are fasting. Nobody can know. If we lock ourselves in our rooms, in the privacy of our rooms, and eat and drink, nobody is going to know. But we are conscious of the fact that Allah is there. He sees us. He knows what we do openly and secretly. So we will not do it because we are conscious of Allah, because we love Him, because we fear our meeting with Him. So we want to talk about an aspect of the Lordship of Allah, uluhiyatillah, the Lordship of Allah. We also, all of us talk about Allah, 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 but we do not think deep about the implication of our belief. When we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord, Allah, there is this verse of the Quran that a lot of us enjoy reading. It is, people chorus it, wa ilahukumu ilahum wahidun la ilaha illa huwa. We chorus it without thinking deep about it. What does Lordship mean? Uluhiyya. It means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absolute in His oneness. Absolute in His oneness. He is ahadun, fardun, samadun. He is alone. He is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. He exists independent. He doesn't need anything. All right? He is unique. He doesn't resemble anything. He cannot be compared to anything. And of course, the implication is that worship, all forms of worship, is due to Him alone. It is not enough to verbalize our faith and our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. we must translate this across board. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one that exists in his dhats, in his sifat, in his af'al, that is, if Allah is the only one that exists in his essence, he is the only one that exists in his names and attributes, he is the only one that exists in his works, what he does in his activities. No other person creates, no other person gives life, no other person causes death, no other person can increase your provision, no other person can heal you, no other person can make you sick. This speaks to the uluhiyya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the ultimate cause. Allah has told us in the Quran, مَا تَسْقُطُ مِنْ وَرَقَةٍ إِلَّا يَعْلَمُهَا, not a leaf will fall from the tree, except that Allah is aware. وَلَا حَبَّةٍ فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ الْأَرْضِ, nothing will grow from the darkness of the earth, except, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of it and he has permitted it. وَلَا that which is green and fresh cannot be green and fresh of its own, except with the leave and permission of Allah. وَلَا يَابِسٍ, that which withers and dries cannot independently wither and brown without the permission of Allah. This is the faith of the sincere and true believer. It means that nobody can give you life, nobody can cause your death, nobody can cause you to prosper, nobody can cause you to be unfortunate, because nothing happens without the knowledge and the permission of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Therefore, if this is so, worship is due to Allah alone. You cannot believe Allah alone exists and then divide worship. You can't divide worship. You must worship Allah alone. And when we talk about worship in Islam, ibadah, it is so broad. It is so broad. But ibadah is based on aqidah. Aqidah is what you believe, what you have as your belief, what powers your action, the motivation for your action is why are you acting? What do you think? What is the end that you have in view? This is very important. It is even much more important than the action, because Allah will not look at the action that you put up. Allah will look at the intention behind his action. Allah will not look at, what you do, maybe your prayer, your appearance, what you say. No, Allah will look at your intention. The Prophet ﷺ has told us, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, every action will be evaluated and rewarded, based on the intention behind such action. So even if action is good and the intention is bad, Allah will not accept it. If the action is bad but intention is good and it's a mistake, Allah will even reward you for your good intention, even though your action is faulty. But no matter how beautiful your action is, if your intention is bad, Allah will not accept it. Allah will not reward you for it. So this is important for us to bear in mind. And we must know that this is at the heart of being a Muslim. It is at the heart of Tawheed. Tawheed is the oneness of Allah, and I've said it is the absolute oneness of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Allah has said in the Quran, وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ وَيُقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَذَلِكَ دِينُ الْقَيِّمَةِ. We have not commanded them إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ, except that they should worship Allah mukhlisina lahuddina, purifying, religion for Allah alone, acting because of Allah alone, not bearing in mind that you are doing it for Allah and for any other. It must be for Allah and for Allah alone. There must be no iota of associationism, all right? That is ascribing partners to Allah. Your action must be intended for Allah alone. It must be for Allah. You must expect reward from Allah alone. Anything contrary to this is what is called, shirk in Islam, associating partners with Allah. So every action must be for the sake of Allah, because of Allah, and for Allah alone, not for Allah and other things. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ وَأَضَلَّهُ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ. Have you not seen who has made his desires, has taken their desires as, partners, as Allah, another God beside Allah? Some people act, because they do acts of ibadah, act of worship because of dunya. They do act of ibadah because of power. They do act of ibadah because of money. Allah will not accept this, and it runs contrary to the uluhiyyah of Allah, the absolute lordship of Allah, which by implication means that worship must be for Allah alone and not for any other thing. This is why Islam has frowned very seriously on shirk, associating partners with Allah, as a major sin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive, every sin. Inna Allah la yakfiru an yushraka bihi wa yaghfiru ma duna dhalika liman yasha. Allah will not forgive that partners should be associated with him, but he will forgive all other kinds of sins. But, generally speaking, even the one who commits shirk, if he repents sincerely or she repents sincerely and you did not go back to such sin, can still be hopeful of the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my dear brothers, check your intention and check your actions. Check your, belief, your aqidah. What do you believe? Do you believe that someone can kill you? Do you believe that, someone can block your destiny? Do you believe that someone can divert your provision? All these are beliefs that are incompatible with, our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us, يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ وَإِنْدَهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah effaces, erases whatever He wills. وَيُثْبِتُ, He causes to be established, to stay, whatever He wills. وَإِنْدَهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ. And with Allah is the mother of all books. So our destiny is known and is written by Allah. It is His prerogative to change this destiny, and nothing can change this destiny except Allah, except prayer. So you call Him even though we don't know what Allah has written for us, we know what we want. Ask Allah for what you want, and nobody can do it for you. No alpha, no offering, nothing can do it for you. It is just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created you, who had written it aforetime, that can change it. This must be the belief, the aqidah of a Muslim in the uluhiyyah of Allah, the lordship of Allah. You see, it is part of the faith, it is part of the belief, the uluhiyyah of Allah, like the verse that we all read. Allahumma malikal mulk, tutil mulka man tasha, wa tanzi'ul mulka mimman tasha, wa tu'idhu man tasha, wa tudhillu man tasha, biyadika al-khair, innaka ala kulli shay'in qadir. it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is the owner of power. He gives it to whomsoever He pleases, and He takes it away from whomsoever He pleases. And every good, all the good is in the hands of Allah. And, He has power over all things. This is also part of the faith, of a Muslim. Therefore, إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. If you must ask anything, ask Allah. وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. If you must seek help, sincerely seek help with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the only one that can help you. He doesn't need intermediary. You can call Him directly. He listens to you. He sees you. He knows your situation. As a Muslim, you are free. لا تكن عبد غيرك. Do not be a slave of a slave like you. That would be double jeopardy. We are all servants of Allah. Don't be servant of a servant. All right? Don't be enslaved by someone else because you think he's powerful. Don't be jealous of him or her, or you think he's wealthy. Don't be jealous of him. But then, it doesn't mean you abase yourself and you think that he's the only one, he or she is the one that can make you rich or make you powerful. Power is with Allah. Al-mulku lillah. Power is with Allah. He gives it to whomsoever He places, and He takes it away from whomsoever He places. In our quest to achieve our aims in life, in our quest for happiness and greatness and for satisfaction, we must remember that the only person that can make this happen is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the only means by which we can actualize this is first recognizing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate and final cause. We must seek knowledge. We must make efforts. We must make efforts, seek knowledge, make efforts, and call on Him. Without doing this, we will not be living our faith. We will not be true to our faith. We will not be demonstrating a conviction in the belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absolutely one and alone in His power. No one shares it with Him. No one shares knowledge with Him. No one shares power with Him. No one can be described by His names and His attribute. He is alone. He is unique. He is the Lord of incomparable majesty. Worship Him sincerely. Call on Him earnestly. Whatever it is that you want, He is able to do for you. Whatever He didn't do for you is not meant for you. It is not the best for you. You realize that and trust Him absolutely. Worship Him sincerely, and you are going to attain success in the life of this world and in the hereafter. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the attainment of excellence in all good things very easy for us. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it very easy for us as Muslims, especially in this auspicious month of Ramadan, to get closer to Allah by, knowing Him more, and by worshiping Him more, and by refining, our faith and purifying our hearts. Certainly, these are very tough times throughout the world. Throughout, not only in this country, Nigeria, everywhere in the world, things are tough economically for everyone. And this is impacting very seriously on faith. People are asking fundamental questions. Where is Allah? Is it there? Is it there? Can He intervene? Why is he allowing us to suffer? Why and why and why? So many million questions that we cannot answer. They should not take our faith away from us. It requires us to know more, to study more, to be more, to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to enlighten our hearts, to get closer to those who know, to remember Allah more, to understand His ways, because His ways is certainly different from our ways, and His ways are kind, His ways are merciful, His ways are gracious, His ways are elevating. And this will become clear to us if we examine our hearts and especially what we believe. If you still believe that it is Allah, and some people say fear Allah once and fear human being 3 times, this is incompatible with faith in Islam, and it is contrary to the understanding of the correct and proper aqidah. It's not a proper understanding of the uluhiyya of Allah, because He doesn't share the dominion with anyone. He is the only one that is all powerful. Ask Him, beg Him, act right, and He will look upon you with mercy. Especially in this month of Ramadan, Allah has said, Ad'uni, call on me, astajib lakum, I will answer your call. But then the provision is, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, Allah calls you and I. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, who you believe, idha da'akum lima yuhyikum, when you are invited to that which is going to give you life. All right? Istajibu lillahi wa lirrasul. You answer the call of Allah and His Rasul, idha da'akum, if they invite you to that which is going to give you life. Our invitation, to your proper understanding of the uluhiyya of Allah is an invitation to that which is going to give you life. May you take this admonition. May Allah enable you to benefit. May this admonition benefit you. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala look upon you and I and all of us with mercy. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wa salamun ala al-mursalin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ameen.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin wal akibatu lil muttaqin. Imam Abdurrahman has been able to deepen our knowledge as regards the proper knowledge that we should have about Allah. And he has equally advised us that all our requests should go straight to Allah, not to any other person. Join us, same station, same time. I remain yours in the service of Allah's Deen, Abdul Ghani Abdul Majid.
All Muslims have to do 5 things. Who knows what they are?
Shahada, Salah, Zakat.
The Companion Zakat Fund Committee is one of the major organ of the organization that is designed and put in place to basically be in charge of the assessment, the collection, as well as distribution of zakat. Collection from the people that are eligible to pay zakat, and then to administer the payment and disbursement of this zakat, to all the people that qualify to, basically receive zakat in line with the injunction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as demonstrated by Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Your jewels are in safe hands, as a greater effort is better than a little effort. That is what we do here. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, the first criterion, college, home of academic excellence and high standards of Islamic principles and values. The first Criterion College is located at 6-8 Oseni Alagbaji Street off Igbe Road, Igbogbo, Ikorodu, Lagos State. You can call on 091-3453-2897. Admission is on into GSS 1 to 3 and SS1. Entrance examination in May, June, and July 2023. First and third Saturday of the month. Change your perspective. We will be expecting